Very well, Sydney. Nice to meet you. This is young James. He does my social media. And this is a young chap from Bedford. He's also just popped along to say hello. Yeah.
Oh, right. First of all,
yes, tell me.
That...
So the Prime Minister came out with a 3-part strategy, which he calls clear plan, bold action to secure the future.
Yeah, but
what is that? You have to look at little details, and as you know, I'm a barrister and I was in the army, so we always look at the detailed battle plan. How are you going to implement that? So the first thing he said, well, a lot of people are getting sick and a lot of people are dying of lung cancer, and the NHS has huge backlog and waiting lists for people who need treatment, largely caused by lung cancer. So what he said was, well, if we try and take some bold action and ban smoking, then by banning smoking, it might not affect people in the short term, but over the next 30, 40, 50 years, you might get some better outcomes for people if you ban smoking. Now, the thing is, sorry to interrupt.
Sorry, no,
that's okay. If you're in Parliament for 4 years or 5 years, you may not see the effect of banning smoking for 50 years. But just that's one small, tiny example of where the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, has said, if I make a decision today that has significant long-term impact, who's going to benefit? Well, all the people who don't get lung cancer from smoking, and all the people who don't get lung cancer from passive smoking, and the people who therefore are not in the NHS system because they haven't got any smoking ill effects. That means that all of that burden in the NHS is taken away. That's not happened in 4 years. So that is exactly the sort of plan that has a long-term tail that he's come up with a few months ago. So that's just one tiny example. But in answer to your question about tax, you need tax to pay for stuff. Everybody accepts that. And you're in this sort of tightrope of, I need to get tax to pay for stuff so I can give people more money for pensioners, I can give more money for the teachers, for the people who work in schools, people who work in hospitals, people in the armed forces. I've got to pay for stuff, but people don't want to pay tax. So I've got to get tax to pay for stuff, but people don't want to pay it. I can't just tax all the businesses because then no one will start a business, or they'll leave the country like some countries have done, some businesses have done. So I've got this sort of tightrope where I've got to incentivize people to work and create money so that we can tax them and then we can spend the tax on paying for stuff. So my whole mantra is prosperity for all. If I can get businesses to do really well, everyone gets salaries, everyone is working, everyone makes money, I can tax a broader proportion of people to make more revenue to then pay for the public services. But I've got to have that direction of travel, and that's what we would say in the army, and that's what he's trying to do. Now, it may not have been translated to you that makes sense, but that's essentially what we're trying to do here. And the difficulty is that you have a 4 or 5 year election cycle, and everyone wants jam today. They don't want to worry about things tomorrow. This is exactly the sort of issue that I want to listen and hear about, because this is exactly where I think my role steps in. I've got all of the issues. I now have some track to run on, both with the civil servants and with politics in general, because everything you just told me is a travesty, and it shouldn't be like that. But why is it like that? Either people haven't listened, or people have listened, not understood, or they haven't made long-term plans or changes to help fix some of these issues. So that's exactly what I'm supposed to be standing for. Yeah. But we've made mistakes over 14 years, and I have to accept that. But anyway, thank you very much for sharing. It's lovely to meet you, and good luck tomorrow with your decision in the booth. But you have to make whatever decision. Thank you for watching. I'd really like to hear from you. Please do get in touch at sydneyyankson.uk.